Apostle.
Hello, how are you doing, Vicky? It's good to see you.
Good to see you, and we're so glad that you agreed to do this. We're so excited about the breaking news and what's going on the earth and what's going on in North and South Korea. I'm going to step back and just let you talk. We got over 300 people, and it's going to just keep going higher and higher. Share what's on your heart, and just we're glad to have you on today.
Yes.
Okay, now watch this. See the engaging contact with the eye contact and the facial features, watch the eyes, watch the mouth, watch the questions and the answers.
Well, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm
okay, watch how he says, "I'm so happy to be here." It's one of those things where he wants you to be like he's a comfortable person, he's a father, he's your friend.
If David E. Taylor was being investigated by the federal government...
1 second. I have to pause this because we have the,
Taylor receives the Lifetime Achievement Award by President Barack Obama.
Alright. Anybody could get this honoring from Barack Obama. It only takes like $50 to do this.
The President of the United States honored David E. Taylor for his nearly 30 years and tens of thousands of hours of service, commitment, and dedication to his community and to America. The Lifetime Achievement Award is the
Anybody could get that.
highest award for volunteer service that the United States federal government gives.
Dr. David E. Taylor, on behalf of the President of the United States.
The president didn't give it to him, someone else.
It's President Barack.
Anyways. Oh, this is the video. Back here.
I'm sure y'all seen what has happened in Korea, which is a tremendous breakthrough. Isn't it amazing how that God has now broken the...
You see, he did this on my birthday to make me angry. But it's okay. I love you, David. You're human too.
principality over North and South Korea. And I had a visitation from Jesus in 2013. Of course, I went to Korea in 2011, and God moved very powerfully in 2011. And I stopped going there for about 2 years.
Look at that. She looked down because she was bored. She didn't uninterested. You know what I mean? It's not real.
Years, because the Lord appeared to me in 11 in Korea in my hotel and said, I'm gonna send you back in 2 years. And in 2 years, I didn't even try to go, but about 50 people from Korea flew all the way over here just to find me. 50 people and start a meeting and was invited.
Oh wow. We were coached and groomed to do that. So it doesn't surprise me when she does that. Like when they talk, it's more like a serious talk, they're not really that engaging.
They me back to Korea in 13. That's when it was divine. So that's when I went back in 13.
All right, look how she does the hand movement. That's engaging into the conversation to make it look like she's interested. But in actuality, she's not really interested. She's like, this is boring, get to the point.
And of course, the Lord appeared to me and told me about the unification of North and South Korea, how that the North and South in America was divided by war, and how that we became the United States through war. You see, and I told them the same thing that happened in the United States is going to happen to North and South Korea. The two lands will become one. It will be a united Korea because God would break the principality. And that's what Jesus said to me when he appeared to me. And he had on the white robe. He was so beautiful. And, and just told me what was going to happen in 2013. And then he says, this will happen in the space of 5 years. He told me exactly 5 years. And you see it happen exactly in 5 years. And I have, awesome. You've seen the prophecy, haven't you?
Yes, I've watched it like 10 times there because I want to be kind of informed of what, when I talk to you, I don't want to look like a dummy, on here. So, yes, I mean, it was...
I don't want to look like the dummy here. The dummy. David. That's your favorite catchphrase, isn't it? Isn't that why you're laughing?
So awesome. And I just kept,
The dummy.
wow, kept looking at the date up there. So this is just amazing, you know, and it just really validates your ministry and that you are a true prophet of God. And I love it. I love it. I love what God is doing through the
Look how she's not looking at the camera when she's saying that. Like, can you see that?
face-to-face movement. I love this. I'm just so excited about.
When you're lying, when you lie, you have these twitch moments, you know. You don't look straight. You're not looking right. I mean, think about how David has mastered this, but he hasn't taught his new protege, Michelle's replacement, Vicky Johan.
What God is doing through you, Apostle, is just awesome.
Well, Vicky, I want to say this about you too. You are such a breath of fresh air to this movement.
Breath of fresh air. Think about it, right? A breath of fresh air. Okay. Now take a break. She's a fresh breath of air. Okay, so David has replaced Michelle with this lady. And she has not been coached right, and it's kind of like a hint, you know, like a mind bookmark for David. Keep watching.
First of all of us around the world, we love your music. We love the way you worship the Lord. I mean, you have an amazing anointing on your life. And I want everybody in the world have heard you probably already. But I mean, I just want the world to also see. I know there's so much more in you that's coming out these next few years. But you are.
Well, I'm writing some songs right now. I'm excited. Since I've seen Jesus, you know,
yes,
in Michigan, God's really giving me some songs. So I'm hoping to have them ready by the crusade. So.
Vicky, I want you to write a song about face to face. I'm working
on it, bro.
I would love for you to help brand face to face with a song from you.
Yes, I want to. Now I gotta ask you. I gotta get back on track here. I gotta ask.
All right, notice this. He wants her to make a song for face to face. That's kind of like his little trick. I mean, he's probably porking her and then close her up so she could not press charges and pull a lawsuit on him. I mean, it's kind of obvious. She's not interested. No eye contact, no movement. I mean, engaging movements, but the way he's talking is not the way he talks.
You something. How did you initially get invited to Korea?
Well, that's an amazing story. Actually, after I wrote Face to Face. As you know, in 2008, I wrote the book Face to Face. The way that happened was Jesus came to me in a dream in my sleep in 2008 in September and said, I want you to write the book.
Did you just see that?
The way that happened was Jesus came to me in a dream in my sleep in 2008 in September and said, I want you to write the book.
Okay. Did you notice her eyes at all? She's looking the other way. That means she doesn't believe him. And it's an eye roll, you know? In her heart, she knows he's a fraud.
Face to
I don't know if it's money, sex. I don't know what it is. Or the power. I could see it.
Face appearances, and I knew what he was talking about because I had tried to write my testimony in that book 10 years before. Only got past the third page. Could not write no more. So for 10 years I couldn't write. So now he comes to me 10 years later and says, I want you to write the book Face to Face Appearances. And he says, I want you to be finished by December. And so a supernatural anointing came on me to finish the book by December. I went to death.
Okay. Do you see in her hand she has her phone? Now that should tell you something. She's not engaged in the conversation at all.
The image to get it.
Because earlier in the video, about 2 to 3 minutes ago, she was looking down. So she's texting. Not engaged.
Publish. And in the process of them publishing the book, Jesus started appearing to his staff who was editing the book, right? It wasn't even out and done.
Look at that. She's just texting right in the middle of it.
Nori goes to a friend of mine named Kim Clement, Prophet Kim Clement, who's dead now. You all know he's a great prophet. And says to him, who is this David guy? This promise in his book that Jesus would appear to people. The Lord is appearing to my whole staff and changing my staff. And he just said, we're going to put this book all over the world because of it. So he put it in Korea. Of a lot of countries, Korea was one of them. And this Korean pastor actually saw the book in the Korean bookstore, saw Jesus' hands on the front of it, and said, that's interesting. So he got it, he read it, and Christ appeared to him. This was a pastor of a 70,000 member church. Now, this is before I met Dr. Jmmi Cho, who has the largest church in the world, 1.5 million members. I met one of his sons who came out of his church, who was the biggest and fastest growing church in Korea. So he has 70,000 members. He read my book and Jesus appeared to him. He says, well, I'm going to give this book to all my elders. He gave it to all his leaders. Jesus appeared to all of them. So amazing. And, I love it. And then, he says, well, I'm just going to buy thousands of these books and just start giving them out in Korea to my people first. And that's how it spread. He just bought the books and Jesus started appearing to everyone. And the first time I got to Korea, he first called me the year, it was in 2010. We call my staff. I was in a 8-month shed-in with the Lord. That was the time, it was in 2010. I told the Lord, I'm not coming out of here until, I get some answers and I get some that I know from him he wanted to give. And that was the most wonderful time of my life. I'm telling you, to be shut away in the church with the Lord for 8 months, 6 to 8 months, actually.
Wow.
And that's when some of the greatest revelations about the Father came and those things. But it was while I was in there that he called my staff and said, we got to have him here. And they started telling them what was happening, telling my staff what was happening in Korea. So this was happening by the book without me even being there. Jesus just started appearing to people all in Korea. So by the time I get to Korea and he invited me for the first service, we had to turn away 20,000 people. 20,000 people.
20,000.
And this was for the 2 o'clock service, 2 p.m.
Okay. So in a church, Jesus, he's had a piece of bread, and he shared it with billions of people, and they didn't turn away anyone. I feel like if you're a real church, you'd take everyone and anyone, any amount, it doesn't matter. But if you turned away 20,000, I think that's still bad, man. It is what it is. I don't know.
Afternoon service.
Wow.
And he said to me, he says, I have invited Bob Jones, Bill Johnson. I've invited all the greats. He says, Heidi Baker, all of these big leaders. He says, they have never stood in line for no one like this. It has never been like this.
They're hungry.
And he says, David, he says, you want to know why they are? He says, we know about your miracle ministry. We know about your prophetic ministry. We know about your...
Well, I've had enough of this crap. Let's go to this one.
Today, we have another wonderful guest whom the Lord has appeared to again. All this week, we've just been interviewing people who Jesus has appeared to. And these testimonies are so magnificent. They're so wonderful.
Does anyone notice how David has no hair here on his forehead? But then, he has hair whenever he's on the Miracle Crusades. The crusade against cancer, he had more hair than this. But I mean, who knows?
And I want you to hear the testimonies of these precious people. Today, we have Miss Kathleen Klein. I'm so happy to have you here today. It is so tremendous to have you on this broadcast and to hear what God has done with you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
You know, you was telling me about how Jesus appeared to you, but I know you probably want to start. Tell the people what happened to you, how the Lord came to you, and where did it start at?
Well, when you first came to Ignited to, with the God outpourings and that kind of thing, or God happening, I guess it was called at that time, you were teaching us that this was a possible thing, that we could all experience Jesus face to face.
So you remember me teaching that message about Jesus appearing to everybody?
Yes, and then I never doubted that he would come. I never did doubt that. I just felt like I had to be a certain way before he would.
Yes.
I felt like I wasn't good enough yet for him to come and visit me. And through the teaching that you were teaching us in the God Happenings, I was really